For centuries, Tibet existed as a remote and deeply spiritual land, often called the roof of the world. Governed by Buddhist leaders, including the Dalai Lama, Tibet maintained its own culture, language, and political system. While it had historical ties with neighboring empires, including China, many historians argue it functioned with significant independence for long periods. Everything began to change in the mid-20th century. In 1949, after the Chinese Civil War, the People's Republic of China was established under Mao Zedong. The new government aimed to unify all territories it claimed as part of China, and Tibet was high on that list. Chinese leaders described Tibet as an inseparable part of their nation, while many Tibetans saw themselves as distinct and independent. In 1950, Chinese forces moved into eastern Tibet in what they called a peaceful liberation. The Tibetan army, small and poorly equipped, was no match for the modern military of China. Within a short time, resistance was crushed. Facing overwhelming pressure, Tibetan representatives signed the 17-point agreement in 1951. This agreement officially brought Tibet under Chinese control, promising autonomy and respect for Tibetan religion and leadership. But the reality on the ground soon began to shift. Over the following years, tensions grew as Chinese authorities introduced reforms that conflicted with traditional Tibetan society. Land redistribution, political restructuring, and increasing military presence led to unrest among the Tibetan population. Many feared the erosion of their culture, religion, and way of life. By 1959, these tensions erupted into a full-scale uprising in the capital, Lhasa. Thousands of Tibetans protested against Chinese rule, fearing for the safety of the Dalai Lama and their future. The situation quickly escalated, and Chinese forces responded with force to suppress the rebellion. The uprising was ultimately crushed, leading to significant loss of life and widespread fear. Amid the chaos, the 14th Dalai Lama made a dramatic escape from Tibet, crossing the Himalayas into India. He was granted asylum in India. His escape marked a turning point. He would go on to establish a government in exile and become the global face of the Tibetan struggle. In the decades that followed, China tightened its control over Tibet. Infrastructure projects, migration policies, and political reforms further integrated the region into the Chinese state. While the Chinese government argues that it has brought development, modernization, and economic growth to Tibet, critics claim these changes have come at the cost of cultural and religious freedom. Today, Tibet remains a deeply sensitive and complex issue on the global stage. To China, it is an integral part of the nation. To many Tibetans and supporters around the world, it represents a lost independence and an ongoing struggle for identity and rights. The story of Tibet is not just about land, it's about culture, belief, power, and perspective. And even today, the question remains unresolved in the hearts of many: was it liberation or occupation?